Hi, Rishi. Welcome to our podcast, Beyond Boolean, how Agentic AI is revolutionizing talent discovery and engagement. And we have seen the hiring landscape is transforming at an unprecedented pace. We have moved beyond the days of keyword search and endless resume screening. And today, AI is not just a tool, it's an enabler, helping organizations to find the right talent at the right pace. Are we ready to let AI take the front seat, or we need a balance between AI and human together? And that's a topic that we have chosen for getting your perspective. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Varun. I'm host today, and I'm founder of Interviews. And to deep dive this very topic, I have fantastic guest with me today, Rishi Kapoor. He is a passionate talent strategist with over 20 years of experience in talent management, capacity planning, employer branding, and many more. And his background, leadership abilities gives him deep understanding of workforce. Rishi holds an MBA in human resource and has held progressive roles at reputable organizations such as Material, Publicis Sapient, Forbes, and FCS. These experiences in multinational firms have provided him with valuable insights into industries, best practices, and talent management challenges, establishing him as a thought leader in the field. Rishi, welcome to the podcast. We are thrilled to have you here.
Thank you, Varun, for inviting me to this, podcast session. I'm really excited, nervous though. It's my first podcast session, so happy to be here. And I hope our conversation, will be interactive and help the audience.
Definitely. We would love to have some nudges today in this session. So, Rishi,
Likewise.
you have been leading talent acquisition for years, and you have witnessed firsthand how the industry has evolved. What do you think are the biggest challenges HR leaders face today?
Well, if I, compare my, last 2 decades experience, when I started the traditional hiring and now, some of the challenges remain same. So I would say three challenges, which I can recall. One is the talent demand and supply shortage. Uh, the scale has changed, the technology has changed, but the problem statement remains the same earlier and now as well. And with the technology evolving, shifting, I guess the gap is also increasing day by day. The second part is, of course, uh, hiring with speed and maintaining the quality. Uh, Earlier, we used to get 90 days of time uh, and then planning and execution. Today, the way business pace is so high that you have to onboard talent as of yesterday. So that's the second challenge which I see as a talent acquisition professional, which teams are experiencing. And then the third bit is expectations from a TA professional. Earlier, if you talk about it was a traditional recruiter, just filling the positions comparatively to now, uh, you have to be a talent acquisition business partner. So I recently, wrote one article which was available on Medium and which reflects that today you have to be a full stack recruiter, like a full stack technologist. If you're just doing, sourcing or, scheduling interviews, that will not help. So you have to evolve your personality, your mindset, and then align with the business. So I guess these are the three potential challenges which uh, I can recall, Varun, and with technology, how you're upscaling, and if you're not, uh, it will not going to help you in the future. So yeah, these are the few challenges which I can think of.
Definitely, I think that's a great insight. And I believe traditionally, as leaders, we have faced these challenges in our lives. When Rishi, I used to hire people, the one thing that we used to struggle a lot was we are looking for certain set of skills, and TA might not have skills to evaluate that skills. And there was a gap in KPIs. TA used to hire faster. So how fast they can fill position was the KPI, and for hiring manager, it was the best candidate. So very valid point.
And then industry has also evolved. I mean, if you, as you rightly said, Varun, and I remember my initial days because the mindset was that okay, why we should hire you? Because now the the talent is looking at okay, why should I join you? So if uh, you know, there's a lot of evolution in the industry with this changed mindset for the organization, for the TA professional, as well as for the talent too.
I think that's a very valid point in this age, and your point makes sense because Gen Z, who is coming now in recruitment, the whole game has evolved. It's no more
Absolutely.
they run after money. They also look for organization, reputation, brand. What do you think about that?
Well, if I have to recall, I mean, and I call it a generational diversity, when you and every candidate or a person has their own personal professional might not motivate Rishi. So, as a TA professional, I need to have that strong, empathetic conversation with the person to understand rather than, hey, I'm calling from XYZ. Are you looking for a change? What's your current compensation? What's the hike? And let's move on. I guess if you're still stuck in that framework, I guess it's high time to reflect back for a TA professional and for the teams and for the organizations too. Gen Zs will not just look the JD, they will have their own questions. Uh, and then I'm sure, in the subsequent, questions will cover that aspect too.
Sure, I think valid point. And traditionally, Rishi, in your experience, you have seen Boolean search was the game till now. Everybody used to do some search parameters. They have to refine filters, and they have to get those sourced candidate, call them as you rightly said, call them, find out if they're open about the job, and so on. So they relied on Boolean search and manual outreach to source candidates. But today, with AI-driven tools, we can analyze vast data sets, predict candidate fit, and automate a significant part of sourcing. So, from your leadership perspective, how do you see AI helping in hiring today? Do you think it's an enabler or a challenge?
I would say both in their respective, leverage standpoint. Since you picked up Boolean, which is very close to my heart, uh, earlier it was more of a keyword conversation that okay, get the right fit. Then the Boolean evolution started that okay, because the the primary problem statement was to get the right talent in the funnel. And at that point of time, as a recruiter or as a TA professional, it was important for me to know what is Boolean and how to leverage it. Today, if you fast forward 20 years down the line, if you don't know Boolean, that's still, I wouldn't say acceptable, but that's okay because the tools are there. They're fast. They have their algorithms. You just paste the JD and it will create the Boolean, and it will give you the funnel. I guess for me, if I talk about AI right now, and in the last couple of weeks, I have been talking to a couple of AI solution-based partners just to understand that how the tool works and functionalities and how it is helping. It's amazing to see, how much bandwidth you can eliminate from the your TA team member who's doing administrative work in terms of building the database, updating the dashboards. Today, if I have a set of 500 odd applicants, uh, the AI can actually shortlist basis on the competencies, behavioral skills you need from the culture fitment standpoint, and the turnaround time, which you, as a recruiter, I used to take to reach out to those, 500 resumes by reviewing each and every, going back to them. I can cut short that time, reach out to the relevant talent, and create that impact for the business. I guess uh, that is changing the landscape pretty fast.
Definitely. And as you rightly just called out, that today's AI is a lot different than keyword-based AI. Traditionally, we have been used to that keyword based AI that we pick skills. If a candidate has e-commerce skill, we'll look for that word e-commerce. But now, even if you don't have that keyword, if your experience talks about that e-commerce landscape, it will pick whether candidate has that skill or not. Yep.
I'll I'll give you example. Uh, I moved from BPO to hiring domain, and in one of the organization, I was given a mandate to hire a ATG professional, which is our technology group, one of the e-commerce platform now acquired by Oracle. I had no freaking clue what ATG was all about, so I had to literally do the research, you know, be a part of the assessments with the panel, draft my questions, and then probe. Today, I can do it in flat 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So that's I would say the AI is changing the game. You talked about the challenges. I guess two challenges which I still feel it's too early to comment, but as a user, I'm still trying to evaluate, or it's a wait and watch situation. One is from the algorithm bias, like it can be gender, location, uh, region, I don't know, uh, or and that's where we need to deep dive. And the third is the data accuracy and privacy. I guess these are the two challenges which is still I would like to know more about it, that how we can overcome these challenges.
Sure. And this data privacy has been one of the contention with many enterprises. When we were discussing with the enterprises about AI solution, the one most important aspect was how infosec compliant the solutions are. Many enterprises, they don't want that PII data, my personally identifiable data, should be shared with any AI solution. That was number one concern. And you rightly called out biasness. Um, AI, the data through which it has been trained is under question. However, I feel it's time to see that these biasness will sooner or later will get away. And what do you feel? I mean, uh, can AI do a autonomous agent, act as an autonomous agent capable to do every end-to-end action, or better word would be balance between human and AI together is the way forward.
See, AI will not be able to replace human touch point. I guess uh, being a as a professional and a user both. Let me start with as a user. At some point of time, I would like to connect with the human being who's representing the brand or the organization to understand if it is out and out uh, AI agent is calling, that will not going to help. So balance is important. Uh, AI can be leveraged for repetitive task or analytics, and AI can help you or inform you, but end of the decision has to be taken by the human. I guess as far as we're able to maintain that balance, it will be a good collaboration between the machine and the uh, human being. That's how I see it, Varun.
Totally, totally. I agree. So, and normally we often talk about AI in terms of efficiency, automation, but there is another crucial aspect, candidate experience. Today's candidate, and you rightly said about Gen Z and other candidates, today they expect seamless, personalized, and fast interaction. Traditional hiring processes often fall short, leading to candidates drop out. And traditionally, at least even in my experience, I have somehow found employer branding was not always at top initially. I am talking about, let's say, 5 years, 7 years down the line. So, in your experience, how candidate engagement over the years have changed, and how do you think AI can enhance the candidate experience part of things?
Well, it's one of the most crucial stage, I would say, from a hiring standpoint, because end of the day, be it earlier and now, uh, experience will play a major role in terms of the decision making process from the talent standpoint. I'll give you example. Earlier, also these experiences used to exist, but was a manual process. I'll take one example that I used to uh, visit the social profile of that individual just to understand his uh, hobbies, or some passion or some recent activity, and then I used to create some personalized email that, hey, person went on a vacation, and I could link that, hey, person loves traveling or something like that, and I created some personalized email, and that was like a touch point in his or her mind that, look, person invested that effort. Today, if you talk about I just have to simply integrate the AI tool, can literally uh, assess the social activity of Varun and predict that, okay, on which all areas Varun has interest, create those personalized messages, or give me some information that, okay, if we talk about this, or if we do this activity with Varun, it can change the game. You talked about millennials. Uh, if you reach out to them with the traditional mindset, I don't think it will gonna help. So the more you leverage technology to understand the candidate persona, it will definitely help in the long run.
And if we turn the table, Rishi, we are talking about candidate experience, and you rightly said that it is at par because it's a talent war out here, and there are very less talented resources, and everybody wants those talented resources. Let's turn the table. Same question on talent HR teams. How AI can help in improving experience of HR team or talent acquisition specialist?
See, from an experience standpoint, one, uh, it will help me to understand the pattern or the data inferences, that the direction which I'm taking, either in terms of sourcing or assessment or post offer engagement, is it going in right direction or not? And then revisit the strategy rather than waiting for 1 month, 2 months down the line, and then realizing that, hey, I missed the bus. So the data part, it can be there. Second, I feel from a diversity standpoint, AI can help me that, okay, today if I have to see that, okay, if I'm hiring for a niche skill, where this talent is based out of, what percentage of talent is gender diversity. And I guess those are the touch points which can help me to elevate the experience as a TA professional and take informed decision and build the strategy, Varun. That's how I see it.
Sure, great point, Rishi. And I agree, I couldn't agree more on that experience part. So, and traditionally, recruiters, when we come to TA executives, we have seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have seen that they always were order takers. And they are either they have to fulfill their KPIs at the end of the day in terms of calls, CV screening, and in terms of meeting the numbers quarterly or half yearly, whatever that KPI is decided. And it was HR driven hiring. How do you think that those KPIs still remains intact, but it enables TA better than what they have been practicing traditionally, that they are under pressure to always deliver. However, we balance out both speed versus accuracy. What do you think how AI can play that role in balancing?
If you're in sales and recruitment or a hiring profession, that pressure will always be there because everybody wants to hire and book the revenue. So uh, uh, I don't know whether it will continue or not, but definitely it will be there, or it is there. Now, second part. traditional recruitment mindset to a talent acquisition business partner. As I said, today it's not an option. Uh, a recruiter has to be a full stack recruiter, a great storyteller, a personal who or who has to have a personal brand in the industry, whether you're hiring for data or DevOps or any particular capability, so that you can represent your brand. Uh, and people should know that, okay, Rishi is hiring for data or DevOps in this organization, and for that you have to be vocal about it. So employer branding, employer value proposition has to be there. Business acumen. Uh, what is the vision and mission of the organization? What kind of a clients you're working for? What is the impact uh, your work is creating for the end clients or for the consumers? Uh, from a metric standpoint, let's say if I'm in the consulting space, what are the revenue we know we are making in terms of margins, so that you can deliver the cost yet maintain the quality and get a right culture fit talent. I would say, and last but not the least, have an inclusive mindset of bringing the DI aspect into the picture, and with all these attributes, on top of that you have a you're on top of the data, so that you can revisit your progress, your numbers, and be agile in terms of changing the strategy. So how AI can help you, you can leverage in different stages depending where organization stands, what is the problem statement you're trying to solve. Because end of the day, it's not a recruiter decision, it's an organization decision. It has a cost element, it has a priority element. So one is, can you use it for a sourcing stage, for an assessment stage, or a complete hire to retire stage? I guess that will help a recruiter or a TA professional to ease his or her bandwidth on the repetitive transactional task and leverage that bandwidth to be more strategic in terms of the thought process and be a key strategic partner work. That's how I see it in the long run.
For sure. And I think very valid point. We talked about how recruiters can leverage AI. I think another aspect is, what skills do you think recruiters would need to become a strategic business partner and take along this AI? So, in addition to leveraging AI, any thoughts on what skills they need to focus on, what skills they need to acquire to even leverage these AIs?
Well, it both goes hand in hand. So if you're being very specific that, okay, from a tool standpoint, one is, what is the problem statement you're experiencing on ground, and how this tool can help you. So one is understanding and defining the problem statement clearly. That's one. Second is that if you're expecting that AI tool will gonna replace and do all your job, that will not gonna be happen. So uh, understanding between important and urgent part, that, okay, what are the tasks which I can leverage through the tool and get it executed and save time. Third bit is the which is most important, I feel, in my from my perspective, is the data acumen. How well you are able to understand the inferences uh, and see that, okay, the tool is helping you or not, and raise the flag and get it fixed, or do something about it. That's what I believe. Initially, from a thought process standpoint, recruiter and AI tool attributes. Though in soft skills, or from a domain, we have already discussed what kind of attributes a TA professional needs to build on.
Sure, sure. Very valid point, Rishi. In addition to skills that recruiter needs to imbibe to be able to run with AI, I think storytelling is also very important as a skill. What are your
It is.
thoughts?
No, since you were very specific about with respect to the AI, now if I talk about competencies which are required, not just from a AI perspective, but from a domain perspective, storytelling is must because today, if you see, you reach out to candidate, they're getting on an average 4 to 5 calls per day for the different opportunities. Uh, they are more aware about the brands. There are multiple social media platforms, whatever story you will say, they can easily validate. So authentic storytelling is must for uh, then your how well you know about your employee value proposition. Uh, it's not about just sharing the policies and practices, but understanding the candidate's driver and then bringing that USP of your organization and create that differentiation that will help. Uh, Another is how well you are able to build the connection between candidate's driver and the organization ask. I might be good in, let's say, full stack skills, and from a checklist standpoint, it is matching. But from the standpoint, from a culture standpoint, the kind of a hiring persona organization need to, build that application or solution for the client, marrying those two thoughts is also equally important. So, not just, okay, checklist done, let's move on with the process. And negotiation skills. End of the day, you're selling talent to the organization and organization to the, talent. So, how well you're able to negotiate internally and externally. Let's accept it, there is bias internally as well, no matter how many tools are there. So, right probing, questioning, uh, understanding if there is a rejection, why. I guess these are the attributes, Varun, I feel is as important currently.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, apart from these skills, most AI adoption in HR is focused on sourcing and screening, as you rightly called out initially also. What about post hire engagement? Any thoughts that how AI can contribute to onboarding, internal mobility, and employee retention strategies, Rishi?
Well, AI tools are it's a starting point, like the sourcing and the assessment part. Uh, and chatbots used to exist earlier as well. That okay, simplifying that okay, a basic query about the any particular policy and the chatbot. I would say it's a next level game changer now, wherein uh, post onboarding AI tools can help. I was going through one demo wherein uh, they are penetrating into the learning and development part as well once post the onboarding. So, for example, let's say I'm on bench or I'm working in X skill and there are multiple positions or IJPs, and if I have to apply, that AI tool can simply tell me that okay, what all competencies are required to apply for that role and help me to assess where do I stand, what are the gaps on the competencies I need to upskill or I need to build those competencies. And then there are uh, pre-loaded training certifications that okay, which can you can learn, give the test, do the assessments, and tell you that okay, I'm done with the certification, and then you can apply for those jobs. That's one part of it. Second is I was just thinking where all AI can help from hire to retire conversation. Uh, these days, we are using AI tool to summarize the minutes of the meeting. How about building this AI tool as a part of your one-on-one quarterly connects or a mentoring conversation, create a summary, and then help you in your, merit rounds or a promotion rounds or a quarterly connects. And that can help you to, okay, when Rishi and Varun interacted, you know, one quarter, down the line, what was the action item where Varun or Rishi are in terms of progress and so on and so forth. So there is an ecosystem which AI tool can build right from the sourcing stage, till the deployment or internal mobility.
I think, Rishi, this is one very critical information and that you have touched on. Post-hiring interaction, quarterly interaction, half-yearly interaction, and then how we can stitch that journey from pre-hire to post-hire. And I was talking to some leaders the other day, and I was navigating exact same idea that how we can use this whole navigation of pre-hire and post-hire, stitch the data point. Can we make it more predictive? So let's say if you hire
Yeah.
me and you are doing quarterly review with me with right and AI analyzes our interaction quarterly, half yearly. AI has all the data to predict, can I hire a candidate next time like Varun's role, and can I predict his or her success? That was the thought process, exactly what you just said now. Makes a lot of sense.
And also the other bit, the internal mobility, in my previous organization, and a lot of organizations are doing is in-house is building these AI models wherein imagine you're a global organization with 10K, 20K headcount, uh, wherein uh, people have worked for same client or same project, but they don't know or they're scattered, and you have to build that team or proposal, and there's an internal intellectual property available, so AI can help to integrate and tell that, okay, Varun, these are the 10 people sitting in India or Singapore or Australia who worked for a XYZ FMCG client, and they can be the best shot. Let's move them or make them travel. That's the future.
Exactly. I totally agree that point of view. I mean, what better place could it have been if a manager, leader knows which talent is the right talent for me to fit for a particular opportunity. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Rishi, as we look ahead, AI will continue to play an even bigger role. And as you rightly said, that we started with Boolean, we had keyword in place. Now there's little bit biasness, which HR leaders are skeptical about. Slowly and gradually, these all gaps will start going away because AI will go become more mature only hereafter. It will play a bigger role in hiring. But with this transformation, leaders need to ensure they are making thoughtful, ethical decisions about AI adoption also. So, Rishi, if you were to advise CHROs and TA heads on preparing for AI driven hiring in next 3 to 5 years, what would be your key recommendations?
My suggestion, I mean, again, my personal views, it uh, it's a organization to organization or a leader to leader point of view, perspective. There is no option. Uh, Even the AI platforms are competing. I mean, started with ChatGPT, DeepSeek coming into the picture has already, literally created a lot of turbulence even within the economy and the stock markets in for a couple of days. Then Grok has also entered in the market. Perplexities uh, collaborating with Paytm and the institutes giving free accesses. And Claude has recently, launched a new version. So the question is, it's not whether you would like to adopt it or not. Uh, how fast you are able to leverage and integrate it. So that's one. Start with small uh, pilot project. Identify the problem statement where it is uh, you can leverage the use case model, because uh, it's not an easy conversation because it has a cost, budgets, procurement teams, a lot of I won't say bureaucratic, but approval mechanism. So start with small, identify the problem statement, build the use case, see the impact, and then extend it. Second is start creating awareness within the organization, especially within the TA and HR teams, because uh, if you're not talking the thought, you will not be able to. seed the thought in the mind that, okay, what is AI is all about. A lot of organizations are, doing uh, AI awareness sessions, basic certification. Uh, so it's not just a leader or a CHR or job, but right from top to bottom, it's an individual choice as well. That what's stopping you just to do the go to any platform and see where all you can leverage. Uh, Third bit is change that narrative that okay, AI will gonna replace our jobs. I guess uh, the, the the quote which everybody's saying, and it's true as well. Personally, what I think is Varun, that AI will not take the job, but people those who don't know to leverage AI, definitely they will lose their jobs for sure. And that's my personal
Oh.
view.
Yes, and I often talk to people and I often tell them that AI is nothing less than Thanos. I mean, in Avenger, you can avoid me, but you can't. I'm inevitable. So AI is inevitable in that sense.
And then see the user, and I would say the problem statements. I was just reading one article. Again, I will not name the organization. They are into the BPO segment. They are leveraging the AI tool to eliminate the Indian accent, so that tomorrow when you're interacting with the customer or the end user, you will not see that the regional barriers. In the one of the demos, uh, a candidate can straight away schedule the call with the AI agent, and that it's not a one-way conversation; it's a two-way conversation. So the experience part which you were referring to, from a candidate standpoint, he or she can actually feel that I'm talking to Varun. Of course, with the transparent approach that it's not a human generated call, it's a AI specific call. But look at the next level, thought process, how and where it is evolving.
Yes, and that's a surprising point you have brought, Rishi. And we were also discussing internally that wherever task handling is required, and task handling typically in a TA world, it can be either they have to coordinate with interviewer, they have to coordinate with candidate, they have to call candidate to outreach. Every touch point where there is a coordination required either over a phone or email, everything can be taken over by AI. As a TA, sometimes people feel hard to understand dialect also. And if I do not understand dialect, sometimes I shy away from interacting with those candidates as a TA. That has been my experience personally. I think there AI can do wonders in r- not getting biased with the dialect approach, but essentially, reaching to the last mile, even if it's in India. You have talent in villages, you have talent in tier two cities, you have south north divide, east west divide.
Absolutely.
AI can play a dual role, as you rightly said, dual communication of keeping it as a personalized language interpreter.
I'll give you one example, again, because of my curiosity to understand the features. So one of the tool is eliminating the human bias, which you picked up in your conversation. Like today, and I'm not saying it's happening, but let's say if one of the candidate is has a stammering situation, maybe one of the recruiter will straight away say, this might not work, whereas the tool is not differentiating between a person who's not stammering versus vis-a-vis who's stammering. Also the MTI factor. So there have been cases wherein person has a strong mother tongue influence, and we outrightly rejected the talent, whereas the AI agent is not differentiating. So there are clear examples wherein machine is biased as well as human is also biased, but
Human, yes.
it's a vice versa situation.
Yes, yes. And if you look at confusion metrics, false positive, false negative cases, in that there are few use cases in which AI is doing best to keep it false positive. I mean, not false negative is out of the question, and AI can do a better job. In few cases, obviously, humans are better. So it's a balancing act that we somewhere we have to balance both.
And then that's where, uh, Varun, I feel that since it's evolving, so you can at a regular checkpoint, you can validate the data, like the false positive or negatives. Go back to the users that okay, how was the experience? Now, uh, as a recruiter, the experience or the data part I was referring to, if out of 500 applicants, AI agent is selecting only 10, which is a very low ratio from a conversion standpoint. But can I deep dive that, okay, what are the trends on which I'm experiencing the rejection? And is it a false positive or a false negative? And no, I would like to leverage that data set as well. There was one experience which it was on the LinkedIn space wherein in a span of 1 minute, person just submitted the application of for against one job, and very next minute he got a rejection email. So, do you want to create that kind of experience or create a value add wherein AI is helping you, not just creating a dent on your brand too, because it will backfire very soon.
Very valid point. I think this is a new thought, Rishi, I'm hearing today. And frankly, as a founder also, we have never thought on that perspective that rejecting a candidate pretty soon, instantly can impact branding. But very valid point. It's a nudge for me also.
So it should be ethical. It's not that, and it might be true because the pace at which algorithm is running, maybe it can be a fraction of second. I don't know, but is it real or is it just happening and we are losing a good talent? I guess the point which you were bringing, the balancing act of human touch point and the AI is still a wait and watch situation.
Right, absolutely. And with this AI future, ROI is something very pertinent point that I think leaders have to look. So AI adoption requires investment, tools, change management. So from your perspective, if you may, what can be some key matrices or indicators that HR leaders should track to measure whether AI adoption has been successful or it is more of just a buzzword that they have gone with?
No, definitely. Uh, every investment, every dollar has some. You have to generate the value in the current situation. So definitely, I am a big advocate of ROI. Now, it depends. ROI looking at a sourcing stage, conversion stage, uh, uh, to your point, the learning part depends what problem statement you're trying to solve. If I talk about sourcing, what is the turnaround time I'm able to reduce uh, in terms of evaluating 1,000 profiles with AI and without AI? So the duration aspect. Second is, uh, have I improved the conversion? Second, uh, was I able to bring more quality candidates? Third is, without AI, if my panel members were investing more time, am I able to reduce their, billable hours at the same time improving the conversion? So metrics can differ from the theme or the problem statement you're trying to solve and from an organization to organization standpoint. For example, if you're going for a campus drive or for a wherein your inflow of the uh, application is huge and it's impossible to go one by one, and but if you're not responding, it is creating a dent on your employer brand. So for some it's like, okay, I want to reduce the turnaround time by responding to all the people, and for some I want to reduce the cost as well.
Sure. Great. Valid point. So, and Rishi, thanks. This has been such an insightful discussion. So, before we wrap up, what's your one key takeaway for HR leaders navigating AI adoption in hiring? Just final thoughts.
Let's not wait for the perfect AI solution. uh, Take a baby step, identify the problem statement, and there are enough partners who are ready to collaborate. uh, do it now, before you find it little hard to implement it. uh, and build the mindset uh, within the fraternity, within the organization, and within the TA team that AI is the next big thing, and it's an enabler, not a just a challenger. I guess. Uh, Lastly, what I can say is that let AI inform you about the options available, and humans should take that decision. These are the three, uh, I guess, thoughts or takeaways learned for me.
I think very valid point to end this thought is, and you rightly said that AI is in hiring isn't about replacing human recruiters. It's about empowering them to make it smarter, faster, and a more informed decision, more comprehensive decision making. Yeah. So thanks, Rishi. Thanks a lot for your time today. It was a great insight, at least for me personally. I hope a lot of people will take nudges from here. Thank you.
I hope for the best. And once again, thank you to you and the entire team of interviews for inviting me, and hopefully it will help the audience. Thank you for the
Sure,
contribution.
Rishi. Thank you.